Keep going. Keep going. Keep going. This is a prophetic word to our generation. Keep going. I am within about 10 kilometers of Field, BC, where 11 days ago today, I nearly lost my life. If it were not for the favor and protection of God Almighty Himself and His holy angels to direct me off the highway, I would have been wiped off the highway. I would have been wiped off this earth. As it was, there were 3 major injuries, 1 fatality at midnight on the 4th of August of 2018. And I was due to pass this exact location, not right here, a few kilometers back this way. I was due to get wiped out, but I didn't. I got spared. My life was spared for a purpose. I have a purpose. I have a destiny, and you do too. So I want to encourage you with that destiny and that purpose, that no matter what has happened, no matter what people say to you, keep going. I came down, compelled in the spirit to come down to the accident scene, biking 15 kilometers in the middle of the night down a road highway stretch right here that was actually closed for access. All traffic was being diverted both sides, but on my side it was being diverted to Field, BC. I pulled my vehicle off, and then compelled in the spirit, I pulled my bike out. I biked 15 kilometers at night, and I came to the scene of an accident that nearly took my life, but for the favor of God and the angels who were at work. That wasn't the only angel that I would see that night, because after visiting that scene, the highway was shut down for 10 hours in both directions, going east and west. But I got to this particular place here, just past this construction zone, and I had been biking for a couple of kilometers already. And I got up to this spot right here. And right here, there was a vehicle traveling down the highway. This was early in the morning now. The vehicle was coming down the highway this direction here, heading westbound. I was heading eastbound up the hill with my bike. Now, to this point, I didn't realize that I actually had it pretty good as I biked down the hill. I just was intent on getting to the accident scene, but I didn't realize how much of my travels over that 15 kilometers was downhill. Nor would I realize how much of my travels to return was going to be now uphill. In fact, it was going to be about 100-meter climb that I would have to go over the next 15 kilometers. But starting right at this exact location, I would start about 2/3 of that climb, actually more than 2/3. I think it was a total of about 450 meters, 450 meters. Sorry, not 50, 450 yards. So yeah. So 2/3 of that, so about 100 meters that I would have to climb, but in the next 2 kilometers. Why am I saying this? Because I love biking, yes, but I don't like climbing 100 meters over a 2-kilometer ride. That's a lot of incline. That's a lot of incline. And I got to this exact location here, and an angel stuck his head out the window and said 2 words to me that would speak of my prophetic past, that would speak of my prophetic destiny and my future, that would talk about where I'm at, and it would speak to me on so many levels that it could only be an angel from heaven. I'm used to getting a lot of words in my life. I've had words like, from my former gay management team, my sales manager and store manager, who were both having married men, but having a side homosexual affair. And when unsuccessfully able to get me out of the store, they'd already pushed one Christian out, but unsuccessfully from the failed Sears Canada, that became the disaster shortly after, they were unable to push me out. They then started threatening me. The store manager 6 different times said, well, maybe we should just fire Robert then. I was one of their top performers in that store, but he kept saying, maybe we should fire you, Robert. Maybe we should just fire you. So one time the sales manager, in the presence of the store manager and 1/3 manager, says, no, I think we should just take him out and run him over with a truck. Take him out back and run him over with a truck. This was from a sales manager and store manager that I was bringing in big sales for. Let's see, what's some other words I've heard? Yes, a former pastor. Former pastor many years ago said, Robert's no longer blessed. He's no longer under the blessing. This was probably the hardest one. After 21 years, I heard, I want a divorce. I don't know what kind of difficult words you've heard, and I don't really care. In the sense, not that I don't care about you as a person, but I don't care about the negative words, because they're crap, and they don't matter. The word I got from a perfect stranger coming down the highway early in the morning, as he stuck his head out the window, he said 2 words to me, 2 words that fueled me to climb 100 meters over the next 2 kilometers. I didn't realize I was on the verge of a hill, but I would have to climb and climb and climb. These 2 words fueled me. I kept saying these 2 words back to myself afterwards. And these 2 words have represented where I've come from, and they also speak to not only where I'm going, but where you're going. Keep going! He stuck his head out the window and he yelled at me. He knew what I was in for. He knew the climb that I was about to face. That's why I say it was an angel from heaven. And he said, keep going! Whatever your destiny, whatever your calling, whatever your purpose, don't quit, keep going!